You guys, we are finally here. International travel is pretty much back with every single major country around the world. Now I want to hop on here real quick on YouTube, give you guys some advice on some things that you absolutely need to do before you travel internationally. I don't see a lot of creators giving you guys the advice that you truly need before you travel internationally. So I'm gonna give you guys that with this video starting now. Number one, if you are American, you must apply for global entry. What it allows you to do is skip immigration when you re-enter the United States, but you are fast-tracked through immigration. Great thing about global entry is that it comes with TSA pre-check, so whenever you travel domestically, that is automatically included. This is why I tell people, do not get TSA pre-check, get global entry. When you have global entry, it includes TSA pre-check. Now for number two, but should really be number one, is make sure that you sign up for the United States Safe Traveler Program. What this does for you is that you're basically telling the United States government your international travel plans. Let's say if you're going to England for a week, you're telling the United States government, hey, I will be in England from this date to this date. What's going to happen is the United States government is going to ensure that you got into that country and is going to ensure that you left that country on the day that you said you was going to leave this country. So God forbid, let's say you get into an accident, let's say if you go missing, let's say if you get killed, you will have the United States government looking after you and trying to find you.
New details in the emerging story of how a team of Navy SEALs rescued a young American woman and another hostage from a band of armed outlaws in Somalia.
This could be really helpful for you guys who are really nervous about traveling internationally. It's good to know that your country has your back and they will be looking for you in case anything happens. If you get into any legal trouble, they can help as well. All this is doing is letting your local embassy or consulate in that country know that you're there from this date to that date and they will look out for you. It is called the U.S. State Department Safe Traveler Program. I will leave a link to it in the description below. Another thing that this program does for you is that it allows you to know where the rules and regulations for this particular country that you're visiting. As we all know, for some countries, it's more restrictive on girls. So this program will let women know what are the restrictions that will be placed on them in that particular country. Another thing. Okay, so one thing that I just now realized is that I did not give you guys enough information on this segment. And this is one of the most important segments I had in this entire video. So let me show you guys why. So the United States Travel Advisory tells you way more than those restrictions. So for example, let's say if we want to go to Australia. First of all, it tells me the travel advisory level. So if it's a level 1 through 4. So 4 is obviously do not go, 1 is yes, go. For Australia, as of right now, Australia is a level 1, which means it's a good to go for anybody. Currently, it also lets you know the vaccination requirements due to COVID-19. So if you need a vaccination, it will tell you, which it says right now, none. It also lets you know how much money that you have to declare when you are leaving or entering. It lets you know if you need a visa or not. And yes, for Australia, you do need a visa, but it's really easy for Americans to get a visa. The advisory also lets you know where all the local embassies and consulates that you might need to know in Australia. It lets you know all of the entry and exit requirements for Australia, so you guys could read this, or just go to the website so you can read this. Now this is also important. It lets you know for safety and security, so it gives you a terrorism warning and gives you some details on it. It also lets you know about local crimes in Australia. Again, I'm just using Australia as an example, but you could go to anywhere. It also informs you on local laws. For example, what will happen if you take alcohol or drugs in Australia. Some countries do not allow you to have alcohol whatsoever. You can have alcohol in Australia, obviously. And as you can see, it also informs us on natural disasters that Australia has, which currently has a bunch of wildfires and bushfires. This was all on the news. So Australia has the most deadliest animals in the world, and this talks about it. Now this is big. It lets you know on your safety if you're LGBTQ, and yes, you are safe in Australia. There's no legal consequences for being LGBTQ in Australia. So again, all this stuff is really helpful for anybody to know. Australian emergency services, which ours is 911, theirs is 000. It informs you that Australia do not take United States healthcare, so you're going to need international health insurance, which I talk more about in this video a little bit later. And if you scroll further down, it talks about some of the traffic laws and driving laws and recreation laws. Just everything that you possibly really need to know when you're traveling is on this travel advisory. So this website comes in handy. And now back to the video you were just watching. All right, another thing that I don't see a lot of creators talking about is make sure that you bring over-the-counter medicine. This could be something simple as cough drop, medication for motion sickness and antacid, anything like that you could bring with you overseas. Well, you should bring with you overseas, because you never know what's going to happen to you, and it's good to have those stuff. Number 4 is cell phone plans. Before you go to any international country, make sure that your cell phone is unlocked. I'm not talking about the password unlocked. I'm talking about make sure that it's carrier unlocked, so you could put any SIM card you want into that phone. Even if your phone is under contract, you could call your provider and ask for it to be internationally unlocked. What you could do is just buy a new phone completely. Buy a cheap phone and just have that when you travel internationally, especially when you go to these third world or second world countries. You don't want to be flashing your brand new iPhone or your brand new Samsung Galaxy. This can make you a target. So what you can do is just get some $40 phone off Amazon and use that when you're overseas instead of having your flashy iPhone. Now, this advice right here is actually crucial. I should have put it even higher up, but this is out of order. Make sure that you learn the local laws to whatever country you're in. Not only just the local laws, but make sure that you know the cultural norms as well. Every country has different laws. There are laws in other countries that we might find stupid or that we're not used to. In Japan, people do not cross the street until the light says you can. So the road could be completely clear. People will not cross. That is a cultural norm that a lot of Americans especially do not know about, because in the United States, we usually just jaywalk, which is illegal, but Americans don't care. And just to give you another example, in Dubai, you cannot have public display of affection. So you can't go around kissing your boyfriend or your girlfriend. That is illegal. That would give you in trouble. You cannot have pornography. You cannot drink alcohol. These are things that, you know, in America, you're probably like, why would that be outlawed? But again, you have to remind yourself you are in a foreign country and you have to adhere to their laws. So make sure that you take the time to really learn those local laws. And that brings me back to my last tip. Make sure that you apply for the United States Safe Traveler Program. So if you do get in trouble in any of these countries, you will have somebody looking out for you. I'm pretty sure with every first world country, they have a program like this available. Make sure that you just apply for it. It's just better to be safe, and it's free. And it's free. And it's absolutely free. So there's really no excuse for you to not enroll into this free program. Now, this tip is obvious, but make sure that you have a universal power adapter or international power adapter. You need to charge your electronics. You need to have your phone charged and all that stuff. And you just need to make sure you have it. So let's go on to the next tip. Now, this is huge. When you are at the airport and you just now land in a foreign country, absolutely rush to immigration. Do not go to a bathroom. Do not go to get food. Do not do nothing. Rush straight to immigration. When you are first landing to a new country, you are trying to get through immigration as fast as possible. You're going up against 300 to 500 people on your aircraft, and there's other aircrafts that are coming in internationally. That could be like at least 5,000 people that are waiting to go through immigration. You want to get that done immediately. You could worry about food. You could worry about the bathrooms. You could do that all when you get through immigration. A lot of people land in a foreign country and they gotta wait 2, 3, 4 to 5, 6 hours in immigration just to get accepted into that country. And the reason why this happens is because you're not trying to get through immigration as fast as possible. Another pro tip that goes along with that last pro tip is that make sure you send somebody to get the luggage immediately. Depending on the country you go to, sometimes you get your luggage after immigration. What you want to do is rush to get all your luggage immediately. You don't want that to get lost. You don't want it to be just spinning around on the belt, especially when you're traveling internationally. So have somebody rush to get everyone's luggage. If there's a delay or anything, have that one person get everyone's luggage. When you're at the airport, when you land, just rush through everything. Do not wait. Please don't wait. Trust me. Speaking of immigration, absolutely do not lie to them at all. Be 100% honest with them. Tell them where you're going to be at, where you're staying, why you're visiting the country, what you're going to do here, who you came with. Make sure that you are 100% honest. Understand that they have a right to go through all your stuff. So I'm not talking about just your luggage, right? They could go through your phone, they could go through your computer, they could go through your bank account to make sure you have enough money to stay in this country. Yes, they could do that. They could go in detail. They don't have to approve you to go into their country. So do not give these people an attitude. Do not fly for 15 hours to Australia and give Australia immigration a hard time, because they just say, no, you're not welcome, and send you right back to where you came from. And they don't care. Their job is to protect the country and make sure that nobody's trying to stay here illegally. I've watched this YouTube video like years ago, and I remember this guy talking about how he got denied into the United Kingdom, and that's just because he gave the UK immigration a bunch of attitude. That's why you got denied into the UK. I have another friend who goes to Canada a lot of times, and he was stopped in Canada once, and now every single time he visits Canada, he is stopped every single time. He's basically on the blacklist. Make sure that if you have stuff on your phone or your laptop that you don't want them to see, make sure that you either don't bring it or that you delete it and you clear your browser history, because they're going to look through all of it. They are looking for a reason to deny you. Before you visit any country, make sure that you download Google offline maps. Now, we all know about Google Maps, but a lot of people do not know that Google Maps have an offline version. What this allows you to do is when you don't have cell phone service, you are still able to navigate the city efficiently and use navigation. Speaking of Google offline maps, download Google Translate offline. So if you're going to a Spanish speaking country, make sure you download Google Translate and that you download again the Spanish language. So when you're not connected to the internet, you can still translate. Next up is make sure that you get international health insurance. This could be really useful for those of you guys that like to go on excursions. Your local health insurance do not apply internationally. Use your emergency extraction benefit on your credit card. So if you are an American Express member and you have the Platinum card, or I believe the Delta Reserve, the American Express Gold card, benefit that you have is emergency extraction. So if in case you ever need to get emergency extracted from any country because you got injury or a hurricane is about to come to the island and you need to get off, American Express or Chase or whatever credit card company you have that has emergency extraction, they will help you. Now, they will charge you for this if you get into a really bad situation. I'm talking about a terribly bad situation. This is better than dying, of course. So make sure that you use that benefit. Now, this advice right here is going to be really controversial because we just came through a pandemic and there's a lot of debate about this, but please hear me out before you just click off or you get angry. But make sure that you get your vaccinations. Each country has diseases or pandemics or viruses that we are not used to in our home country. For example, I am American. I'm not used to malaria because we don't have a malaria problem in the United States. But malaria is a problem in certain areas in Africa. Before I travel to those areas, I'm going to talk to my doctor to see if he could prescribe me or give me a vaccine or something for malaria. So I won't have to use my international health insurance. I won't have to be emergency extracted because I'm already prepared for it. I already have medicine or the vaccines for it. So again, I know that vaccines is really controversial because of the pandemic that we just went through, but you guys, make sure you talk to your doctor. You know, it's an option. I'm not trying to force you guys to get any type of vaccines, but just talk to your doctor. Another thing that would be really helpful for you guys is to make sure that you click on my video right here where I will tell you guys all your travel essentials that you need to get off of Amazon right now. When this video is first uploaded, you probably won't see it right here, but I'm literally going to record it right after this. So make sure you click right here to watch it. Also, if you have any more advice that you can add, leave them in the comments below. If this video does really well, I will make a part 2 to this.